Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rocket Live. I am here with a rock star networking friend of mine, Danny Mizrahi, who is the CEO and founder of Contango IT. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, thank God, man. Just hanging in there. Hoping my luck doesn't run out, you know?
I've known Danny for quite some time, man. We've been networking for years together, been in many of the same business circles and groups, and I'm really happy to have him on the show today. Danny's built an amazing IT company that it's just he's built it from scratch and just totally is just rocking, man. He's just kicking ass right now, and thank God he is thriving in the COVID world right now. And Danny's a great guy. He helps a lot of people. He does a lot, and I'm really happy to have him on the show. So Danny, thank you for coming on today.
No, my pleasure, man. You're making me blush here. No, I feel very honored to be a part of the show, and I feel similarly about you. I mean, we've been hanging out for a long time, doing a lot of business and, making good introductions, helping people out. So I feel the same way for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. So let's just jump right into it. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about, who you are, what you're doing, a bit about your background.
Yeah, so, I started Contango, I guess, about 11 years ago. We've always prided ourselves in being one step ahead of the competition. So 11 years ago, we were only doing cloud consulting. Mm-hmm. Back then, when we were doing cloud consulting, I was doing like a lot of CLEs and CPEs for accountants and lawyers and getting booed off the stage. They told me the cloud would never work. The cloud will never exist. Nobody will go to the cloud. It's impossible. And then then all of a sudden, 2011, iCloud came out. That was great for our brand. 2012, Sandy, and we tripled up after Sandy because everyone at that point, especially the accountants and the lawyers, they all said, all right, let's go to the cloud, right?
Right.
So we've always been one step ahead of the competition. We've always focused on company culture. It means everything to us. Our core values mean everything to us. Our team, we follow a methodology of hiring, the A method of hiring. So Jeff Smart's methodology of hiring, and our culture, our team is the most important thing. Staying one step ahead. Now we have 45 people in cybersecurity.
Oh, wow.
Which we know we're ahead of the game. We're, we've always, like I said, one step ahead, just making sure that we have differentiators against our competition,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's obviously huge. And I'm sure too, with, obviously, the pandemic and basically the forcing of companies to all adopt technology that everybody was kind of like, keeping at arm's length and all that didn't want to go on. Everybody was forced on this whole virtual landscape that we're all in now, working from home and communicating how we are now. I'm sure that's been something probably been like the number one driver for you, right? As far as business goes.
Well, yeah. Well, the beginning we were very busy because unfortunately, we have about 300 clients and about 150 of them we manage day-to-day IT for. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them emailed us with a list of people that we were supposed to lock out of their systems, right? I'm furloughing 12 people. I'm furloughing 20 people. I'm furloughing 8 people. That was brutal. It breaks our hearts because a lot of those end users we like. We support, we care about our clients, we care about the end users, we care about all of them, and that just goes into our culture. One of our core values is to treat people like people, not treat people like objects, right?
Of course.
And treat people like human beings, right? So that was really hurtful for us. It really hurt seeing all these, and a lot of them are back, so we're pretty, we're cool with that. The second thing after that was, all these people working from home, it's not okay for them to just be using any random machines.
Yeah.
So then after that, we were getting, ordering 40 laptops at a time for clients, right? So getting 40 laptops, setting them up, sending them out to their homes, making sure they're secure. Then we are doing a lot of end user awareness training because now that people are home, what happens is they used to click on stuff and wire transfer fraud and ransomware and crypto locker and all these different things, right? And then all of a sudden they can't look at their neighbor and say, hey, was it you that sent me that link? Should I really click on this?
Right.
And so we have to do a lot more, security awareness training and user training and making sure people know not to click on things, pick up the phone before wire transfers. A lot, making sure they all had 2-factor authentication set up and, encryption. All those machines that are floating all over the place now, they have to be encrypted. So there was a lot of work for us at the beginning. And then it slowed down and then it picked up, and there were like things like the PPP loan that helped us. And One of the things that we did was very smart. It wasn't my idea, otherwise I wouldn't say it was very smart. But the team said, "Look, the guys aren't very busy right now. Why don't we give like a 30% discount on any open projects that we were trying to close? Just to, my guys, I didn't want them playing video games all day. I wanted them to stay sharp.
Right.
I didn't mind, giving discounts on projects and helping the clients out. They were going to have to do those things anyway, right? So if they were going to have to do those things anyway, why not just, make it happen during this time and just keep everyone busy? And we didn't decrease a single person's pay. We didn't lay anyone off. We just tried to keep busy, and we've hired 2 people since COVID. So I'm really proud that we kept the team intact and nobody took any pay cuts. Maybe the owners did, but that's not, that's how it goes, right?
That's how it goes, man. I mean, it's you know what though, you're doing good. I mean, listen, you're taking care of your people. You've done some smart moves, and and that too, I think also reflects on your your one of your big attributes as to why I feel like that you've been very successful, because you and I met many years ago now, and it doesn't seem that long ago, but then when I look at it, I'm like, it's been a long time. But I remember when you were very much starting and growing the company, and to see where you started then and where you are now, I definitely feel like what you just talked about is one of your huge traits as a leader, as a rock star, but as an owner, that the fact that you're not putting yourself first, over your people. And I feel like that's a great attribute of why your company's been successful.
I appreciate that, because it doesn't, not everyone sees it, right? Because
of course not.
At the end of the day, the numbers said that I was supposed to, shed a little bit of payroll, and we didn't. Right. And we probably should have. We probably still could, but we believe in our growth. We just got new office space. I mean, we left our office immediately. We moved into this like ridiculous space. We got a deal. We're paying half of what we were paying. We were on a month to month, so we just got out. Friend of mine said, "My space is empty. Why don't you take it for, what do you want to pay?" And that's just what it's about, thriving instead of just surviving during COVID, right? How can we just keep thriving and take advantage? It's not an opportunity to take advantage of, but there's a lot of buy low right now, and we believe in our growth. So we will buy low and believe in our growth and recruit the right people, make sure, to me, buying low is also keeping my staff, instead of cutting costs, right?
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I like Michael.
Thank you, sir.
This is fun. I think this is my first live, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so I'd love to ask you too, because I think this is a great time to talk about this, because I'm sure there's a lot of business owners out there watching this right now, and I think this is a great opportunity to talk about that. Is, I think what sort of from your personal experience, I mean, what is something else that you could share, like as far as not only just for now, like getting through these times, which is very tough all around for many people, and yes, while they have found opportunities to thrive, not everybody's been able to do that, but also too, just your growth, man. I mean, you've been able to keep this company growing. You've taken chances, you've taken risks. I mean, what would you be able to impart as far as some Danny Mizrahi sage-like advice to some business owners out there? Yeah, but you're good, man. You keep it real, and that's what I've always loved about you.
No, I mean, look, I'm constantly surrounding myself with people that have done it before and are smarter than me. I mean, that's why I'm in like EO and Vistage and all those groups, even execs, right? Like, I'm in these organizations because the people that I get to hang out with have been there, they've done that. The books, the books that I read and go through, whether it's E-Myth to Traction to Who to Dale Carnegie books. I mean, I'm a junkie when it comes to that. So, I mean, I probably do about a book a week minimum, maybe one reading, one audible a week. I'm doing a lot of mentoring of entrepreneurs, younger entrepreneurs, trying to get them to $1 million in revenue. And that mentorship is so helpful to me, because when you're teaching other entrepreneurs, you have to practice what you preach. You can't say do this and not do it. So I have my own accountability groups, and my own, groups that drive me to grow. Our first core value is to stay in Contango. Contango is a commodities expression. It means the future is higher than the present. That's what we strive for. Constant improvement, yada, yada, yada. Like that's what we're about, is growing. Everyone around me is really just about growing. And I think that's important, to keep those kinds of people around you.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, it's something that I've always learned early on too in my business was, to surround yourself with people who are, smarter than you, have been there before, but are so willing to help you. And if you're always authentic and genuine, people will want to help you back.
Yeah.
And I've always been a firm believer in that, and that's something I've tried to pass on to people I've tried to mentor in the past as well. Is that sensibility of like, create your mastermind group, which is what they
Mhm.
Think and Grow Rich, positive
Sure.
mental attitude, but surround yourself with like-minded people, and they don't even have to be in the same industry as you. But the
No.
fact that business is business, and there's ways of doing things to be able to promote growth and promote success, and it doesn't always involve like taking all the largest risks and things like that, and it's being a real person.
Yeah, well, certainly in the networking world, giving first and giving early and giving often
Yeah,
is the trick. I mean, it's like a selfish trick at this
right.
point. I almost feel bad about giving business around, and no, because like I know it comes back. It's like
It does.
I didn't read Never Eat Alone, but someone told me, oh, you must have read Never Eat Alone because you're really doing what it says in the book. And in the book, it basically says, give fast and you're developing a relationship right away. So I always think about the three I's, invitation, introduction, information, right? So
Right.
when I do a one-on-one with someone, or even like before this call, like I knew a couple of things that I wanted to do as far as introductions and get more business in your hands, or put you in the right scenarios where you're going to get more business. Or worst case scenario is I did this the other day. I sent the book to somebody and I said, this is the methodology we use when we hire, the A Method of Hiring by Jeff Smart. It's by the book is called Who. And I sent the guy the book. And then, a couple of days later, he's like, I can't believe I didn't know about this methodology because, now we're going to transform the whole, he said, we're going to transform the whole way that we hire based on this book. And I'm like, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. And I try to speak from experience more than giving advice, but that's what we did,
Right.
so I totally, I think that's what it's about for sure. Just giving early and often.
Yeah, definitely right on. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that myself. I mean, my schedule every day, every day at 9 a.m. I have written in there for 30 minutes, and it says follow-ups. And in that time, that's the time when I'm mostly sending introductions to people, and I'm doing my follow-ups from anybody else who said, oh, I'll introduce you, but most of that time is me spent giving introductions to people that I've met, whether the day before or a few days, because I want to keep that up. I take that very seriously.
Yeah. I so I did a one-on-one with a guy in the hospitality business, literally half an hour ago or something, and I'm introducing him to like 4 people. This is why I'm making the intro.
Right.
And I'll tell you the next trick that I do, and I think it's a really good trick, it works well for me, is those notes, they go straight to my assistant, and then she drafts all the introductions. So, right now I probably have like 70 draft emails waiting for me because I wasn't in yesterday. I had a tough day on the golf course yesterday, real unfortunate, work day from the golf course. But
Right.
but yeah. So now I have like all these draft emails waiting for me from last week, all those one-on-ones that I did, and now at some point tonight or after this call, I'm going to send, and everyone thinks that I banged out all these emails and I made all these intros, but really I have a team helping me do that as well. So I haven't written my own emails in a very long time, and I really feel like that's part of my success and part of my trick, so I could focus on doing more, things like this, or more one-on-ones, or more prospect meetings, or really coaching the team, right? So I really only have 2 jobs at this point, which is the people process. We have 75 people now, so the people process is crazy important.
Right.
And then business development, and hanging out with people like you and just trying to, make it happen for other people. And then it comes back, it always comes back.
Absolutely. That's a great tip there. Now, and you're a huge networker, man. I mean, I consider you a serial networker, but in not a negative way at all. I mean, it's a really positive thing, because the thing is, you're networking, but you're giving back. I mean, you've got the whole circle going and the whole right attitude on things. One of the things I've run into a lot with folks is, and this is part of the things that I coach them on and help them with, is really how to network in this day and age, right? Where we're at right now currently, and who knows what tomorrow's going to hold, or next week. I mean, it's constantly changing and evolving.
Mhm.
I feel like for you, the transition from a lot of the in-person to virtual wasn't that big of a leap for you. But I'm gonna go out on a limb on that one. But I mean, how I guess what kind of advice would you give to people who might be struggling with it right now, who are like finding it difficult to network and keep their network engaged during this time?
I think the only difference right now is after you make all those intros, and after you give,
Right.
to maybe, schedule an in-person, when things cool down, and definitely schedule a follow-up call, because, you want to keep the momentum going. I mean, I don't like this at all. I don't like
Right.
the Zoom thing at all anymore. I'm done with it. I was done with it for a while. We have an event Thursday night where, I know it's going to be crazy safe and socially
Yeah.
distanced and
Yes.
all that. And I'll tell you right now is a great opportunity to go grab a drink with someone outside, socially distanced, whatever it is. I'm in Manhattan every day. I live and work here. It's a great opportunity to treat someone for a nice lunch. Like we have Keen's around the corner, the steakhouse.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a problem, having Keen's around the corner. And I'm really just wanting to take as many people there for lunch and a great T-bone or whatever, the mutton chop, as much as I can right now. And I know that that's a little pricey, but it's totally worth the investment because I miss that interaction and the people that I've taken there, whether they're clients, and not just there, it's any bar,
Right.
anywhere. Right. But the people I'm taking out to drinks right now and the people that I'm, treating for a sick lunch or whatever it is, the feedback I'm getting is like, that was one of the best lunches because everyone misses it so much. And I miss it badly. I'm an energy guy. I'm a human interaction guy.
Mhm.
You know that, a lot of people that know me know that. Like I like being in the same room as people. I love energy. It's hard. This is hard for me. And also I think a lot of people are multitasking like crazy on Zoom. I'm sometimes multitasking like crazy at these networking groups, letting people do their elevator pitches. And I just banged out like, 50 emails. That's not that cool that I do that. And I try to remember I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. But that's real,
Right.
and that's what happens when you have 3 monitors, you know what I mean? You could do this kind of multitasking, but I miss in-person energy. I miss in-person experiences big time. So I think if you're asking me for advice, don't do it. Don't do it. Go in person with people and be really safe. You have Purell in your pocket, you have a mask on, and, but just be there for those kinds of experiences, I mean, obviously everyone, I'm not saying, you live with your parents and,
Right.
and that they're sick and, immunocompromised and, be a jerk. I'm not saying do it. I'm saying be
common sense, be smart, follow the protocol.
Well, we have, I think, I think this idea of having to wear a mask and be 10 feet apart is a little much. Like, I think it's either or,
Mhm.
you could be 6 feet apart, 10 feet apart, and you could wear a mask, or if you're not, right? I think that's kind of the guidelines. So I'm not doing anything revolutionary, it's just, I think it's smart.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, it's all about being smart and thinking about your situation and at your end, like you said, if you're if you're in the care of some your parents and you live with them, then you really want to think about it. But if you feel the thing is, you can do a lot of these things in a very safe manner and safe environment. You don't have to be completely disregard the public health protocols that are out there to do it. But I agree. I mean, I'm very much an energy guy too, and as much as I've embraced all this stuff, I'm missing lunches and networking and in-person stuff greatly. So it is, and it's nice because I've been able to do it too. I've gotten together with a few people I network with, so my very closely held network, and we've done it. We've gotten together for a dinner, an outdoor dinner or a drink or an outside lunch, and it does make it sweeter and more special than it used to be because we've been away from it for so long.
Yeah, I think it's
do it safely.
Yeah, I really do think it's an opportunity, to really show people you care. Like I'll take this risk and hang out with you because I want to take a risk and hang out with you. It goes a little further, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. So I want to switch gears a little bit, and I do want to talk about because I do want to talk a bit more about your expertise in your company and and what you guys are seeing too, because here we are at the end, getting close to the end of 2020, going into 2021. And I think it's important, though, to talk about some of the tech trends you guys have been seeing, and, what, businesses should be prepared for going into the new year, and maybe things that they should be looking at now and being concerned with, or, definitely looking into when they're engaging, a firm like you guys or anybody else. What are the things they should be thinking about? And what are you seeing out there?
Well, the latter part, I mean, what we're seeing is compliance is reshaping the way IT works. A lot of our clients got letters. They're called vendor requirement letters or third-party compliance checklists that tell them that they have to have a certain IT posture, a certain cybersecurity posture for them to keep those big clients.
Right.
So it's trickling down. Compliance is trickling down, and it's getting to us. And so what used to be able to get by in, hourly IT support or, proactive but not full monitoring solutions is really not going to work anymore. You really do need the full monitoring solution, the updated antivirus, the updated hardware notifications. We're doing a lot of what's called managed security, not just managed services and IT support. It's called managed security. We're monitoring user behavior. Right. Who deleted a lot of files randomly, who put in a USB stick and they've never done that before. Now, not every industry needs to do these kinds of things, but a lot of them do. Anyone that has PII, personal identifiable information, or PHI, personal healthcare information, those industries, compliance is crazy for them. So, we're tackling a lot of law firms, a lot of accounting firms, a lot of medical industry, a lot of companies that received funding, private equity companies. And we picked up a company in San Jose that was, they're gonna about to raise almost $100 million, and they didn't even have like generic IT.
Yeah.
They came to us for cybersecurity. I was like, well, you don't have two-factor authentication. You don't have encrypted messaging. You don't even, some of their end users were using their home computers. They weren't even using company devices, right? So, when you're raising money, you need to get your cybersecurity and your IT posture on a different level. So that's a nice trigger for us. Anyone with PII is a nice trigger for us. We really excel there. So I don't think that's going to slow down. I mean, the privacy acts, like SHIELD in New York is the new Privacy Act in New York. They say every single business in New York needs to be SHIELD compliant. Every single business in New York needs to be SHIELD compliant. Most people don't even know what that means. If you're a $5 million business, then you have to do certain things, like have certain like breach notification policies and data protection policies and things like that. You're supposed to do a risk assessment with a cybersecurity company once a year. Every single $5 million company in New York is supposed to do a cybersecurity risk assessment once a year, according to the SHIELD Act. Most people don't know about that. And most people don't care because there's not a lot of fines getting thrown around right now, but there will be. Just like GDPR in Europe and CCPA in California. So these cybersecurity requirements are not going to slow down.
And that's something you see happening. Yeah, so that's something you see happening in 2021. You feel like they're going to start really clamping down on that.
Well, New York needs to make some money. So
right. Well, I think almost all states do. I mean, New York, New Jersey, a lot of states in this area. A lot of the states are hurting for dough.
Yes, and Privacy Acts is going to be a really easy way to make some money. So I don't like using scare tactics.
Right.
My take on compliance is get the compliance requirement off your plate as cost efficiently as possible. So a lot of people say we have like a PCI requirement, and we'll say, all right, you have a credit card requirement, but if you just do this little tiny tweaking, then it goes from a $50,000 a year requirement to a $3,000 a year requirement. So we can help navigate those companies how to get those requirements off their plates, and efficiently and effectively as possible, instead of them, because compliance could crush a company.
Right.
Hospitality industry gets crushed because of some compliance and regulations, ADA, minimum wage. There's some in hospitality that, we do the IT for 150 restaurants. They got crushed during all of this, and they get compliance requirements on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So getting the compliance requirement understood and off their plate is definitely a trend.
Right.
Managed security is a trend. Managed IT is a trend. Phishing and spoofing is insane right now. So making sure that they're doing end user awareness training, and then, what we do is we do year-round phishing and spoofing campaigns. So we're trying to get the end users to click on things all year. That's important because it's the one that they click on that isn't from us that's going to be a huge problem. But when they click on the ones that we created, that we get them to click on, because we create these like, nice looking emails.
Yeah.
Then we show them after, this is the email, and now you got to watch another video and take another test on that topic, whether it's wire transfer, where to put your passwords, what kind of things to click on. This is important stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had no idea you guys were even doing that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, we do that year round now. It's pretty big.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool, man. I like that a lot. So I think too with everything that you've been saying, I mean, I see a lot too. Early on you saw a lot, like, I mean, Zoom's been updating like crazy. So is there any, like, as far as that goes too, with what you guys are doing? I mean, do you see a lot of that managing with video conferencing software like Zoom, or, are there other ones out there that you even recommend even better than Zoom that companies should be adopting? Or, I mean, are they all pretty much doing a pretty good job?
Yeah, I think Zoom is doing a pretty good job of, staying up to date. I mean, the school system was using Hangouts because they said Zoom had these loopholes, and that was really frustrating. Don't get me started on the school systems right now and the Zoom thing. With 3 small kids at home, it's not great. But Zoom seems to be keeping up. I'm a big believer. That's not going to be the driver of the problems. It's not going to be Zoom, especially now with the waiting rooms and the meeting passcodes and all that. The problems are when people click on stupid SHIT, and they don't understand what's fake and what's real. That's the real problem. But besides that, I like the idea of going with what people are familiar with, especially right now when people get really frustrated with technology. I mean, people always get frustrated with technology. But if you're doing like a prospect call and now they have to learn, Microsoft Teams, or they have to learn GoToMeeting or WebEx, right? And log me in or whatever it is, I think they get even more frustrated. So I do like the idea of going with what's a popular solution so people don't get too frustrated,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's good advice right there for you. So, as we're winding down a bit, wanted to see, I can ask you this because I know you really well. So I think the most important question of the day is, which actor is your favorite? Who played Batman the best out of all? Since you and I, we've had this conversation, I think, before, but you're a big Batman guy, so.
I am. That is really.
I feel like we talked about this before, but probably not in this setting. So it'd be nice to get.
I mean, George Clooney's the easy winner, right? No, I'm just George Clooney's the easy winner. Who plays Keith Conroy? He's the best, right?
Oh, man, well, yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I mean, most people aren't going to know who that is, but that's the animated.
I know. Well, the
animated voice.
As far as animated voice goes, he is the best.
Yeah, he's the best. I mean, and he was in, you saw the Infinite Crisis, the crossover on TV.
Yeah, and he was,
yeah, that was really cool.
That was really
awesome
cool
cameo. So who is the best? I mean, Christian Bale did an amazing job. I actually thought Batfleck was pretty good for the role, for the rich guy who's very angry.
Yeah.
He was very, that was a very Dark Knight Rises type of Batman, right? A very, Batman versus Superman. It was very true to the comics form where they fought, and he was older. He was an older Batman. He was a little out of shape, a little tired, right? So I thought he did that well. And, Michael Keaton was I watched that movie probably 1,000 times growing up,
I think so too.
And
I remember waiting in line to go see that.
Yeah. Who am I missing that I'm,
Well, Val Kilmer, who's, his portrayal was kind of forgettable. I mean, I always tend, my answer tends to always be, I thought out of the on-screen, iterations of Batman, I always felt like Michael Keaton's Batman is my favorite. I mean, you could say he's my favorite, but I like Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it was great.
I feel like he was a great Bat and Christian Bale's a great Bruce Wayne.
But also the directors are going to shape the movies, right?
Yeah.
Like having Tim Burton there, to create that dark vibe, and Danny Elfman with the music, right? That's a crazy winning combo, and then the Val Kilmer movies and the George Clooney movies or whatever, you're going to get what you pay for kind of thing in terms of the direction. And then, with Nolan or whatever, with the trilogy. I mean, the third one wasn't that good, I didn't think,
Yeah,
but that Batman Begins story was just like everything that you kind of always wanted in a Batman
yeah,
Begins story, right? So
absolutely. I
the
really
movie
enjoyed
kind
that.
of shaped it too, but also the adversary shapes it, right?
Yeah,
Because
I was just gonna say, who's your favorite? Who your favorite villain? There you go.
well, definitely the Joker, but which Joker, right? I
Right,
mean,
which version of the Joker?
you know, I
Um,
I I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. I mean, again, it goes back. I mean, to me, it's the laugh.
yeah,
The laugh is so important for the
it
Joker.
is.
And again, I'll go Mark Hamill on Joker because he's the animated one.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, also you're a Star Wars junkie, so anything Mark Hamill, right?
Yeah,
So I do think Mark Hamill on The Voice is just epic, and then the Jack Nicholson's laugh, and then Joaquin Phoenix's laugh was just. I mean, that movie, the Joker movie,
that
the recent one,
was
you know,
outstanding.
that was one of the best. That was the best, cinema. I mean, again, from your video, I thought every single scene in that movie was art like no other. In the
Yeah,
last
it was
Joker
it was
movie,
it was a well done. I mean, I really enjoyed it as a filmmaker, as a big filmmaking fan. I enjoyed it, and
yeah,
as a Batman fan, I
yeah,
really enjoyed it because
yeah,
I thought they nailed it, and I've had this conversation with many people, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure because you read Batman, so I mean, how you're watching a movie and you're like, that's from that story, that's
yeah.
from Killing Joke, that's from Dark
Right.
Knight, Dark Knight Returns, like
One
you
Night
just
Returns. That's what I
yeah.
meant. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you start picking the things out and you're like, oh my god, this is from that, this is from Death in the Family, like
Right,
like it's
right.
just
Yeah, and I'll tell if anyone's a Batman fan on right now, you got to watch the animated movie, The Dark Knight Returns, Part One and Two together. That
awesome.
that was just like that's the best thing I've seen from Batman in I don't know
It is
forever.
excellent.
I mean those
It's
two.
100% the comic book coming to life.
Yeah, yeah, that's an incredible 3 hour. I mean, it's 3 hours
Yeah, but it's
and
great.
it's totally worth it.
It is 100% worth it.
And that's like the real BVS, Batman versus Superman story. You
Yeah,
know, it's
that
the
is.
real. It's actually the real story from The Dark Knight Rises. It's the real story from Batman versus Superman. It's like
Yep.
those real stories coming to life.
Yep.
That's an incredible thing to watch.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite graphic novels of all time is Dark Knight Returns. That one is just it's up there with Watchmen for me.
Yeah, and then Kingdom Come and
Yeah, Kingdom Come. Yeah,
and
we can go on and on. This will easily become a total geek
yeah.
video podcast very very shortly. So before we go though, I do want to ask real quick the latest Batman trailer that was released a few months ago. First reactions.
First reaction was cool. I mean, I like Dark Batman, so I like him just beating
Yeah.
the crap out of someone. There's a part of me that wishes that there was going to be something that I could watch with my kids, but like I literally can't have my kids watch Batman. It's just like too violent.
Well, you're gonna have to go to the '60s. You're gonna have to go to the TV show with Adam West.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch that anymore. I'm too
Jim Pitt.
stuck on amazing graphics and stuff like that. I have a lot of Batman like stories for them, and they love Batman. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing I can have them watch. I mean, even the animated series is
Yeah,
dark.
You're right.
It's dark and it's scary. I tried to have them watch like the Mask of the Phantasm. It came out on the
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yep.
And I watched it like a half an hour of it before putting my kids are 6 and 4, so it's like they're
Yeah.
very young. And I started watching. I was like, they can't watch this. I mean, there's like too much death. I mean, it's always like getting shot or something.
Yeah. It's
Anyway, that's okay for me. You could keep doing that. If you're watching this and you're in charge, which is not going to be the case, keep doing what you're doing.
yeah, because we love it. We're eating it up. We're
I
eating
mean,
it up.
that's Batman,
I do like that the premise for the new Batman movie is going to focus a lot more on his detective work and almost be.
Mhm.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot more like year 2, like Batman Year, which I really liked, and I love the year 1 storyline. So I think if they do go in that more, I think that'll be great because I don't think we've really seen out of all the films, we haven't seen much of the world's greatest detective side of Batman, which
Yeah,
I
Arkham
always
Asylum,
loved.
the Arkham Asylum video games, like that is
yes.
hardcore on the detective work and the gadgets and all that. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it is. It
That's
is
something-
very fun. So cool. Well, this is awesome, man. I could do this for like another hour
no,
talk this with you, but I know we got to wrap things up here. So, what is a great way for people to get a hold of you out there? So if they want to know about Contango, if they want to talk Batman with you, if they want to talk mentorship, networking, what's the best place for people to get a hold of you, man?
I mean, go to the website, hit me up on LinkedIn. Whatever it is, contangoit.com is our website to learn more about us and reach out. I love talking tech. I love talking comic books. I love talking business and entrepreneurship, and I love talking growth. So if you're into those things, I want to chat about it, so you could hit me up on LinkedIn, and my pleasure for sure. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to chat live. This is my first live stream. I love it.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm so glad that you could be a part of it, and I appreciate you coming on. It's awesome. This was a great conversation, and I'm glad we can do it. So, I want to thank everybody out there who watches, listens, and supports the show. You guys have been great. Everybody who reshares the episodes, supports the people, connects with the people I network with on this show. That is awesome. That's the whole point of this, is to give the people in my network a platform to talk about who they are, what they do, and for you guys to connect with them. So thank you guys all so much for watching another episode of Rocket Live, and we'll be back soon with another episode. Rocket.
Keep rocking it, guys.